Today, on Be Something Wonderful, the only thing you need to manifest anything instantly is this. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back here to the studios of Be Something Wonderful here in Las Vegas. I have a big video today. I want to talk about this session with a client that she really got locked and loaded on the idea that her story, the story that she says about herself, the story, that inner story, the outer story, what she says she is, who she says she is, creates her entire life experience or manifests her entire life experience instantly. This is what she said, and we're going to get into some of the ideas. Tom, thank you. I really do get this. Oh my God. My story, my I am is the only thing I need. It all manifests instantly. Hear this, because it's all already there. My story determines how I experience that. She called it that there-ness. In other words, she knows that it's all, that she manifests it instantly. And things are unfolding instantly for her, right, as she intends. So it determines how I experience what? All that isness, that simultaneity, that instantaneity. How do you experience that changeless reality, right? You experience as change. And the only way you can experience that is it has to unfold from within you as a 3D experience. How does it unfold from within you? From your story. When does that unfold? Instantly as you tell that story. I am is the only reality, right? So let's hit this like we never have before. So the only thing you need to manifest anything instantly is I am, or in other words, your story. Your I am story is your entire life experience right now, instantly. There's nothing else outside of your I am story, your story of who you are. There's no reality apart from your experience of it. Therefore, hear this, your experience or your story is the only reality. There's no other reality apart from your experience of your story. Therefore, your experience or your story is the only reality. When? Right now. Your whole experience of life is just a story you're telling yourself, a story you're making up as you go along. That's from Genevieve Davis, the magic books. I love that. This client got it. She goes, I was just telling a story of non-fulfillment. I was telling a story that I don't get what I want. I don't manifest what I want. And nobody else does. That it's always a struggle. It's always an effort. There was a few of you that were commenting, I think, on the Facebook page as well about that, pointing to the idea of Abraham Hicks talks about the vortex. And when she says, how do you get your money out of the vortex? And everyone's going, yeah, how do you? Well, that's it. You're creating the reality that there is a vortex. A reality that there's a vortex outside of you. You are the vortex. You are reality. So as you tell the story that you've got to manifest money, you've got to pull it out of the vortex and somehow you have to receive it and manifest it. And you have to attract it. Then that becomes your reality. It's the only reality you see. So no matter how many times you look out there and say, it's still not coming, there's something wrong, that is just your story. And your story is the only reality. Start telling it the way you would like it to be right now from that I amness, from that truth within. Then that becomes your experience or only reality. She got this, and she said, and she is manifesting things instantly. Remember, it's her reality. She goes, Tom, I was addicted to success stories. And every time I would hear another story, I didn't realize that I was telling my story that I am not that person I want to be yet. Hear this insight she had. Every time she sought another success story to feel better, she was telling the story that I am not. I am not who I want, but others are getting it. Or every time she heard a story where someone wasn't getting what they want, she was telling that story. Do you see it? There's nothing out there. Stop seeking stories from others. Stop measuring your experience from the outside world. Stop telling your story. Stop letting the outer world Tell your story. Tell your story, and the outer world will rearrange itself around that story. Stop allowing your thoughts and feelings that are just appearances within that awareness of who you are, that I am. Tell your story, and start telling your story, and your thoughts and feelings will form around that story, right? Your I am story creates your entire experience of reality, past, present, and future, instantly, right now. There's nothing, there is no past, there is no future. There's just right now, this one moment. Creation's finished, and you're telling the story of your viewpoint or vantage point or perspective of that one creation, that one reality. And that story determines your entire experience of reality. Do you realize the magnitude of this? That's really what I wanted to say. What a power we're talking about here. Before Abraham, I am. Before all those stories, before any other story, before any other belief, before any other assumption, before any other experience of reality is reality, ultimate reality. The absolute fulfillment that you already are. That's why in The Chosen, Jesus at the pool of Bethesda, asking the paralyzed man, do you want to be healed? In other words, do you want to be whole, complete, divine right now? And again, remember, the paralyzed man went into stories about how everyone's crawling all over him, won't let him near the pool. Jesus goes, I'm not asking you about who's helping you or who's not. In other words, I'm not asking you about those old stories. I'm not asking you about the stories of who you think you are from the conditions of the 3D world or from your thoughts and feelings. I'm asking about you, that I am, that real awareness of being. Who do you say you are? That's powerful. So, do you want to be healed? He asks again, do you want to be healed? In other words, do you want to see yourself right now? Do you want to tell the story that you're already whole, complete, fulfilled right now? Because that's the only story that matters. Then stop telling the story of I am not. Stop telling those old stories that they do nothing for you. They mean nothing. In that scene at the pool of Bethesda in the show The Chosen, that's why Jesus said the pool means nothing. It means nothing. Your stories mean nothing. Those old stories mean nothing. There's only one story that's true. It's your complete, absolute fulfillment right now. That you are already everything you want to be. That's the only true story. So, and Jesus says to this paralyzed man, when he says, you know it. He goes, but you're still here. He goes, you know that the pool means nothing. You know those old stories mean nothing. You know those 3D conditions mean nothing, but you're still here. You're still here telling the stories. The same old stories of limitations, the same old stories of obstacles, of effort, of time and non-fulfillment, of not seeing it manifest, of believing there's something wrong, of saying that it's a lot of effort, that nobody gets what they want. Nobody gets the money they want. Nobody gets the homes they want. Nobody gets the love they want. That's your reality. Those are your assumptions. That's your beliefs. That's your story, so that's all you'll see. You'll only see evidence of your story that you're telling. You'll never see evidence other than that. You can't see beyond the story you're telling, beyond your I am story. You can't see beyond those assumptions, those beliefs. That's the contents of your own consciousness, your I am story, right? That's why Jesus said to the paralyzed man, you don't need this pool, you only need me. The only story you'll ever need is that story of absolute fulfillment right now. That you're complete right now. That's the only story. It makes no sense to tell any other story. To keep looking for success stories out there from others. Or looking, because you're only going to get proof of either success stories or not success stories, but they're not your story. Because every time you hear one, you're going, well, but I'm not that yet. I haven't manifested yet. Or if you see someone that you believe hasn't manifested, you go, see, they haven't manifested. You create all that. There is no truth or reality outside of your I am story. You create it. There are no facts. There are no fiction. There's no reality outside of your story, outside of your experience of it. There's only absolute I am, complete fulfillment I amness. the truth of reality, who you really are, that complete, whole, utterly worthy and fulfilled spiritual being that I am awareness. That's the only truth. You get to tell the reality. So remember, you can never see anything or experience anything, see anything or experience anything other than your own I am story. Other people's success stories or experiences mean nothing. Whether they were successful or not mean nothing. They mean nothing. They do nothing. You can only know and experience the contents of your own consciousness. Or in other words, you can only experience and know your own I am story. Because you are all that is. You determine your world, all of it. There's nothing out there. The only truth, a true story is I am, the word or the name of God. That's why this client is experiencing her dream life now, that everything's unfolding, because that's the only story she tells. She doesn't allow the outer conditions to tell her story. She doesn't allow her changing thoughts and feelings to tell her story. She tells her own story, right? Just say the word and my servant will be healed, from Matthew 8:8. This is the centurion's servant. This is when Jesus heals the servant. The centurion says, well, you know, I'm not worthy for you to come under my roof. Right? This is what we think, well, to come under my roof. I'm not worthy, but remember, you're utterly worthy. You're utterly fulfilled in that I amness. That's why the servant says, I'm not worthy, but just say the word and my servant will be healed. Knew the power of that story, of the story that I am already fulfilled. I'm already complete, and I just need to say that story, tell that story, say that word. The only truth is I am. That's the word of the name of God. You're whole, complete, and fulfilled. Right? The word, I am, God, reality, underlines all manifestations. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That underlies all manifestations. All the instantaneity and the simultaneity of reality is in that word, I am. In that story, I am. Your I am story, the Word, the one and only creative power, is the vehicle through which God, all that is, knows itself experientially. Right? All things came into being through Him, through the Word, through I am. And apart from I am, nothing came into being that has come into being. Your I am, your story, that's Him. Your word, your story, your inner speech, your inner talking becomes your inner experience, and then your outer experience forms around that. There's no other reality. So the only question is, what's your story? What's the word that you're saying? What's your inner speech? What's your inner experience? Because that determines all of it. It's not about others. It's not about events. It's not the changing thoughts and feelings. It's not the thoughts about the past. Don't allow them to tell your story. You tell your story from your truth within. And that's the only truth. That's power. So that's why Neville Goddard said, as we control our inner talking, in other words, as we tell our story, our I am story, as we control our story, as we don't allow outer people, events, and circumstances to tell our story, as we don't allow those changing thoughts and feelings to tell our story, as we control our story, we tell our story, matching it to fulfilled desires, we can lay aside all other processes. Wow, I've said this in dozens of videos, but wow, lay aside everything else, all other processes. I am that I am. What does that mean? That which I desire and want to be. That's what that means. I am that I am. I am who I desire and want to be right now. God gave us the key. Scripture gave us, the ancients told us the secret. As you tell that story, seeming miracles are performed. That's what Neville Goddard says. As you tell that story, as you match it, as you match your story, your I am story, to your wish fulfilled, to your highest ideal, to who you believe you want to be, that ideal, then you can lay aside all the process. You're no longer fragmenting reality. You're no longer seeing it as a series of broken events, right? Some of the events are fulfilling, some are not. Some are desired, some are not. Some are wanted, and some are not. We divide up or fragment reality or God or all that is, or that I am in, that I amness, without telling the overall story that I am fulfilled, right? See it from the story of your I am story of fulfillment. See it from the story that fulfillment is unfolding in 3D reality as your manifestations, as your physical experience. See it all from that fulfillment. And that's the only story that you'll experience. It's the only story that you'll live. Wow, that's powerful. Neville Goddard says, our lives seem to be broken by events, but they are never broken so long as we retain the inner speech of fulfilled desire. Again, Neville talking about, life seems to be fragmented or broken, right? Broken perception, but it's never broken as you maintain that inner speech of fulfilled desire, as you tell that I am story from that absolute fulfillment. Remember, creation is finished. When the ancients say that, there's only one moment or one event, and that's absolute fulfillment. That you view it from infinite viewpoints, vantage points, and perspectives. You view that one event, creation is finished, that one moment from infinite viewpoints, infinite vantage points, and infinite perspectives. Creation is finished. Before I am, before Abraham, I am. Before all of those viewpoints, before all of those perspectives, creation is finished. It's done. And then you get to experience that creation by how you see it, by the I am story that you tell, right? You experience creation through, by, and as the story you're telling. The word I am. It's your words that shape your experience, not the people, events, and circumstances of your life. Genevieve Davis from the Magic Books again. And I'm going to add, not your thoughts and feelings either, not any condition, not any experience, not any 3D event determines your experience of reality. You do by your story, by your I am story. It's the only true story. Before Abraham, before everything else, before any story that's told, is the true story of who you are. Tell from that truth within, because that's the only reality. So, the one and only thing to manifest your ideal life and shift to your desired version of you right now is to tell the story of how you would like things to be from the place of truth within, I am. Declare all changing conditions as part of the unfolding no matter what. That's why Jesus in The Chosen said, you only need me, you only need I am. The changing conditions mean nothing because they're changing. Do you see it? It's your I am that never changes. You get to tell the story. Tell the story and the ideal that you want to experience as that linear experience. Remember, you change what you think as the linear past and the linear future from this present moment. From the I am story that you're telling, you change everything. As you change your story, then you move to a reality where you have a horizontal past that makes more sense, makes more sense in time and space, in linear time and space, to the story that you're telling right now. And you create a linear future that makes sense to the story you're telling right now. It's all the now moment in your I am story. There's nothing to wait for. There's nothing to manifest. It's all now. It's simply moving your awareness to that story of who you desire to be now. That's why Jesus said in The Chosen, in that scene, let's go, get up, pick up your mat and walk. In other words, let's go, get up and tell your new story, and only that new story. That's the only thing you need to manifest anything instantly, is that. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter, at Tom Kearin, for being part of our membership channel. Don't forget, this Sunday at 9 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Coast Standard Time, right here live from the studios of Be Something Wonderful. We are going to be broadcasting with our second live event exclusively on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel. If you're a member, join us. If you're not, there's a link below and check it out. Creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude. This is Tom in the studios here of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.